local midday update.
Welcome back. As the fight against COVID-19 continues, we're working to bring you the facts you need so that together we may flatten the curve. Joining us now is Texas Governor Greg Abbott to give us an update on the state's efforts to slow the spread of coronavirus. Governor, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you all.
Absolutely. Governor, I want to address something that's affecting Texans and Louisianans as well. You've put in place troopers at the Louisiana and Texas border. How does this affect the livelihood of people living and working in either state? Were there any considerations taken in this decision?
Yeah, all issues were taken into consideration, including the ability for those who are working on one side to be able to travel to the other side, and that is an exception to these travel restrictions. Here's what we did, and so you'll know I spoke to the Louisiana governor about this also. As everybody probably knows, Louisiana is one of the hot spots in the United States with a high level of number of the people who have COVID-19. What we wanted to do is, we have our own challenges trying to contain the spread of the COVID-19 in the state of Texas. The last thing that we need to be able to deal with is having people importing COVID-19 from one of the hot spots in Louisiana. So we have state troopers who are working on having checkpoints at all roadways into the state of Texas from Louisiana. And if people don't have an exception that allows them to be traveling here, they're not allowed in, or if they are allowed in, they are subject to a 14-day quarantine.
And Governor, many healthcare workers have expressed concern in having enough supplies to be able to protect themselves while still treating others. How do you go about reassuring them while also making sure that Texas has what it needs to treat coronavirus patients?
Sure. So one thing that we've been working on, we created a supply chain team in the governor's office to make sure that healthcare workers and everybody would have the amount of supplies they need. And let me tell you how productive they have been. In just this week alone, over the past couple of days, we've been able to distribute more than 2.5 million of these masks that they so desperately need. On top of that, we provided 210,000 face guards, more than 2.7 million gloves, more than 170,000 gowns. And so we are providing the PPE that people desperately need because we've been able to open up the supply chains. One last thing in this regard that's so important to the people across the state, and that is to know that we have the capacity at our hospitals to be able to deal with an expansion of COVID-19. And so we've done an assessment, and I can tell you that in the state of Texas, we have more than 21,000 hospital beds that are available, more than 2,200 ICU units, as well as more than 7,300 of these ventilators that may be needed. So bottom line, when it concerns being able to take care of the health care needs of our Texans who may contract COVID-19, we are fully capable of doing that.
Governor, thank you so much for being with us today. We appreciate your time. We know you're very, very busy.
Sure, thank you.
And stay with us. When we return, we have a final check of your forecast, and later we're telling you what local doctors are doing to find a cure for COVID-19. That's coming up next.